We'll see at the moment, Tim's. Top lane. Yep, Mason and Doobie just have to be a little careful. Have, of course, Nyx Assassin in the neighborhood as well. Yeah, won't go for the bounty rune tonight. We'll head back. Allow DC to claim what is rightfully theirs. Grab it. But at the moment, yeah, Sam H, do you think, are we going to see Tim stay up here because, as you said, they want to put pressure on the Slark, or will Sam be left on his own on the Nyx?
Looks like he's probably going to be left on his own. He's going to be pulling some creep waves off. There's no real point Slider sharing the XP. You want to give Nyx the solo XP as much as possible. Although Nyx is going to have to work for this creep wave. He'll get decay spammed a bit and eventually get away. The boots first is pretty much a build where you have to get that creep wave. This boots first does not allow you to trade hits. Very limited in what you can do, and yeah, Sam H will manage to get the creep wave back to his house. I'd be surprised if Slider stays up here. I feel like the Nyx wants the soul XP. I mean, he got this boots. He worked hard to get this XP.
But look at this dive from Tubu. He's diving to tier 1. So Slider says, right, I want to go for this. Tubu does have 8 stacks of the decay, but he's underneath
Tower's
the tower.
Going to find him now.
He's going to be able to turn around and drop another decay, which will continue to buy him time. He's got 16 stacks
of it. No TP
though. He's creating space, wasting time.
Needs this impale into a crush. Slider's very far away though.
Tubu's going to get the chance to hit another 2-man decay by the looks of it. Turns around, bam. Actually only grabs Sam H with it, but it's allowing Tubu to just dive in, walk around, and they can't quite kill him.
Okay. I mean, he kind of does. He's very annoying there, but at the end of the day, Nyx and Slider still get that XP and farm under the tower with that one wave. And Dubu's going to lose all his stacks and suddenly he's going to be on very low HP, so he has to be careful about how he plays this one. Bringing through the lane may look to... I mean, you don't really want to suicide to Newts anymore. That's not really the best idea these days, so he will make the full wraparound back home, it seems.
Bottom lane, Raven and Rio just laying down a bit of harassment onto Bulba. He has the shield. Move that poison touch, will be fine. And Rio should get enough space down here. You feel that? I mean, Dubu still has to be very careful. He's playing it greedy. He wants to grab the bounty rune. That's kind of what you lose those decay stacks, you actually get down to 0 HP. Top lane, TNC actually finding the opening onto Demon and trapped in the trees. That will be your first blood. As the two of them get the kill. A lot of stuns, a lot of control. You've got to be careful getting caught out of position.
Big find. Yeah, Dubu's actually just ran around, like, since, like, it looked good where he gets those 2 heroes, runs away, but, like, since you lose all that HP and he hasn't gone back to base to heal, he's just going to be lurking around, stealing bounty runes. He's waiting for Bulba to come Shrine. Bulba probably doesn't even want to use this Shrine. He's still got plenty of HP and mana, but I think Dubu's just like, dude, I need the HP. I need to go back to my lane. We got to Shrine now, otherwise I'm useless, so...
He's still got a bit of time as well with an Arcane Rune, so if he can get in and drop a few spams of the decay, it will be nice in that bottom lane. Definitely. Mid lane matchup, going very, very nice with Kuku. Top lane, another movement in again with the stuns onto Mason. Dubu will TP across. Make sure that they don't dive in deeper for Mason. Mason's still at the top of the CS, so the harassment not slowing his farm down at all so far. With another crush, a little off the point. Bottom lane, again, trying their best to harass Bulba out, but now he's level 3, 2 points in the Aphotic Shield. Very hard for them to do it. In fact, he just turns and swipes straight in to Rio, forcing him back. But yeah, that mid lane matchup, 15 for 6 on Kuku, as 8 for 1 on Abed. OD having a very strong mid lane.
Abed's getting wrecked so far. Only just then picked up a couple extra CS to get him up to the 8 CS. This has been a fantastic start for the OD, and likely to continue to be that way because CM's kind of jungling. I think we will see an early smoke from Demon, hit level 3, get that Nova Frostbite, and perhaps look for a kill. Problem is, Abed is using all his mana to farm, so he's not going to be able to really kill on his own. He has to bring in someone like the Undying if he wants to kill the OD at mid, so not easy for Demon to find those smoke opportunities.
It's top lane as well. They may not necessarily be able to slow down the farm of the Slark. I wonder if they're getting most TS on the Nyx, but it doesn't actually look like they are, Sam. Not getting a lot of money. Try and make a move on to Dubu. Again, I mean, Dubu's a hard hero to go on. Even if they hit the 2 stuns, it's very likely that Dubu will be able to keep himself alive at this stage of the game with the decay.
Yep.
So, I mean, ideally, these two need to be finding the CM in the lane, but as we've seen, you know, since that first blood, Jimmy's been keeping himself well away from the two of them.
Yeah, he's just power farming his way through the jungling, managed to find his boots from that, get some more wards for his team, and we'll see if he heads back top now with the levels. With a 1-1-1 build, he can be a lot more effective, and yeah, he'll TP up top, and they're ready to fight TNC and try and regain control of what they feel is their lane. They're like, this is our safe lane, let's try and do something about this.
Yeah. And for Jewel, with the control of the Frostbite, a pounce, a couple of decays, they can certainly get a kill. They'll look towards Tims. There's the first into the second stun. Not enough to get the kill on Mason, but it looks like it will be enough to hold them back. So both sides struggling to get a kill on this top lane.
Good, just quick impale, and you kind of make sure, like, okay, is he going to Dark Pact? Because if he Dark Pacts off the impale, well, you've got a Slider Crush to use after it. But he was trying to hold the Dark Pact for a little bit later, and as a result, no real damage or threat posed by DC.
Scouting out Tims, who was sitting in the tree line at the side, forcing these two back.
Still, a free farming Slack. Not necessarily a major problem right now. You've got Spectre not farming as well as the Slack, but Spectre's going to hit a level 6 and be able to rotate around and make some plays happen. And Slack kind of is a bit more passive than that until he gets like a Shadow Blade, or if there's a dive under tower. He's not going to look to get involved like a Spectre does early on, and that's, I think, a big reason why we're seeing a lot of Spectres, because yeah, it's this kind of greedy farming carry, but it can also get involved from time to time around the haunt.
I see mid one as well. Mid one, sorry. In the mid lane, Tims is coming through with a rotation. If Kuku can get a setup with an Astral, they can have a go. Albert is fairly tanky on this DK and does have backup coming in from the rest of DC. They will make the play here with the Astral setup. Tims looking for the positioning, but very, very quick stun from Arbed. Yeah, gets Tims before he can stun. The Frostbite's there from Demon. Immediately the Tombstone's removed though. Good reaction from TNC, making sure that DNC can't stick around for more. And again, both teams just saving each other, keeping themselves alive.
Yep. Unlikely a kill even if he times that stun. With the DC rotation coming in, they were going to be able to protect the DK just fine. So even though it was a misplay from the Slider, it wasn't really of much consequence. And yep, they get out, they kill the Tomb. Tomb's a huge chunk of gold, like for a support. I believe it was the Dazzle who got that little 125 gold bounty, but even so, OG's going to continue to just dominate this CS battle in mid lane. It's pretty tough lane for the DK, but he has managed to kind of catch up a little bit with the bottle, breathe fire. He's been able to spam a little bit better now, but he's going to have to buy some of these cheap, cost-effective items like Raindrop just to keep himself alive. Poor man's shield, items you typically don't want to maybe have on a Dragon Knight.
Mason still definitely there, going to be the potential issue for TNC. Top of the farm. It's on the top lane again, doing their best to put pressure on, but I mean, what is the best way that TNC can do something about this slot? Because between these two heroes, you know, Tims and Sam H, at the moment they just don't have the burst or control to bring them down. They need to have a +1.
Yep, bottom lane, bit of a dive going in now.
They can get away with this kill onto Raven, bursted though by the Aphotic Shield. Tims comes in with the stun, Bulba pops the borrowed time, looking for Raven in the tree line, but a quick TP out will save him. Yeah, he could join this fight back in if they want to look for the kills in return. They brought in 3, another crush onto Arbed. Arbed forcing them back though with the Dragon Form. There's the Horn. He'll look for Bulba, but Bulba's got the shield up. The Soul Rip heal as well from Dubu keeps Bulba alive. Raven can't stick around for that kill. Maybe they can get something else. Dubu hitting big 3-man decays, keeping TNC back. And the Horn used to no avail, not getting a kill in return. And again, it just seems that these teams, they've both got so many ways of saving each other that it's so hard for them to actually seal a kill. Yeah,
Spectre doesn't want to, like the 4v4, 5v5 type fight there is not really suitable for a Spectre to get much of a Haunt. You really want your team to go for a smoke gank and find a solo kill. Like, try and use the Haunt for the DK mid lane, but ultimately he had to TP himself home. He wants to get back to the lane and the fight's going on, so he sees it now. Abaddon was like down to 100 HP, but a shield plus Soul Rip heals him back up. And problem is now, Spectre can't really farm this lane. Like, I'm not sure what the Spectre's plan is going to be, whether you fall back to the jungle or something. Abaddon undying with CM aura. CM's even here. This is a death trap being at this bottom lane for Raven.
With TP from the Nyx Assassin coming down towards the bottom lane, has the Vendetta, just hit the 6. But it's, again, very hard for him to do something. Yeah, Sentry's down. DC know what's up. And they are not going to get caught out by this first Vendetta rotation from Sam H.
Bulba's just spamming Aphotic Shields to harass the Spectre, already down to half HP. Spectre does not really want to fight at this point. The CM Oro is just so nice to play this Abaddon with.
Raven has to be so careful. They could dive. Now Sam H will make the move. Demon will be bursted down immediately. Okay. So even though the News in the neighborhood still end up losing a life to Sam H's rotation.
They give Spectre the tomb. That's some nice team play there as well. 150 gold, and That's the earn charges. I think more important than anything, those earn charges is just like a saving grace for Raven. He was getting harassed, he was down to half HP. Suddenly, you just find a CM kill. It's not really a big, major kill. Sector doesn't even really get too involved, but you get these earn charges. Now you can go offensive, and Bulba
has to be careful with 4 heroes still down here. SamH holding onto the stun as well, waiting for the borrowed time to come off. He has still got it available. There it is to finish the kill. Arbed and Demon have come in with the rotation. Turn towards Tim's, the lowest at the moment. The Poison Touch will hold Arbed back with the slow. DC won't find the initial kill in return, and it looks like they won't find it at all. TNC back off. So it's the 3rd kill on the map. Of course, whilst this is happening, Mason continuing to get space up top, so they are creating space for the Slark DC with the focus that the rest of the team is putting on this bottom lane.
Teams TNC finally like, alright, enough space for Mason, because OD actually goes top with his DD rune. Could have continued to free farm mid and perhaps pressure the tower, but he's kind of says like, actually, I can kind of 1v1 this Slark for now. So force the Slark back into the jungle a bit.
I'm making another go here onto the Abaddon. They know the borrowed time is still unavailable. Bulba's going to fall, doesn't get the chance for the Aphotic Shield. The Tombstone's drop, but again, it's going to be more money for Raven. Gets the final touch. Mason's come in with the counter rotation, but he can't get the leap initiation. Could be in a bit of trouble himself. Shadow Dance was used on the top lane. It's still on cooldown for 20 seconds. Mason ends up giving away his life. The hero that DC were kind of relying on as he was having that opening whilst the rest of the team was fighting, turning up to the fight, giving his life away. Absolutely the opposite of what DC needs to happen in these first 11 minutes.
This last like 2 minutes has been a catastrophe for DC. I think even without any kills, it was like a 2-0 kill score, maybe 3-0. Wasn't going all too bad for DC. Slark was free farming, DK's lane was at least somewhat salvaged, and Abaddon was really starting to apply pressure. We could see Spectre struggling to farm. Like, they had the shield on the creep wave, they were pressuring the tower. Really felt like this bottom lane was about to fall apart for Spectre, but SamH shows up, he saves the day with that initial CM kill, and since then, they just snowballed this bottom lane, and it feels like DC have just kind of overextended and really tried to force things too much down here. Feeding the tomb money, that's 300 gold to Spectre between those two tombs.
It's a lot. And that kill as well, you know, Mason, he's about 20 CS ahead, but because he gave that kill down there where Raven was involved, certainly net worth-wise, Raven and Mason are on the same level again.
Yeah. I mean, Bulba dying twice in a row as well. That was such a great call to go in him instantly when he comes back to lane. It was 5 seconds before his borrowed time, and you betcha TNC knew that he didn't quite have it yet. They were fully committing and knowing they could get that kill if they were quick about it.
Top lane, Mason will return to farming on his own on this safe lane. Bottom lane, the rest of DC will continue to look to put the pressure on bottom. SamH has come in with the Vendetta, but they will need to deal with the sentry still out of range here. So DC do still have that detection out. Raven continues to farm, but feeling very safe in doing so with both the Nyx Assassin and Dazzle behind him. Mid lane, it's been left open. Kuku, he's soloing this tier 1 for the time being. We'll start to see some of DC maybe come across. We've got DK thinking about it. Arbed will head over, might be able to get the deny. No, it's not going to be there in time. Kuku picks it up. Arbed actually pops the dragon form, but Kuku just hastes away. Rio's TP'd across, so it may also be questionable how much he can get done in terms of pressure with the Elden Dragon form. SamH also in the mid lane now with the Vendetta, eyes on Dubu. We'll see what they're going to do here. Kuku still with the use of haste, will be held back. There's the haunt, the heal bomb as Raven jumps in, blows up the Undying. They'll move up to the shrine. They do have to be a little careful. The shrine is available. DC bringing in the full force. The Sanity's dropped though. DC very low on mana. They'll now pop the shrine. Mason, he heals himself up with a Shadow Dance, will survive. TNC don't get any more kills.
Great disengage. So the fact that they commit very heavily to the shrine and then they still manage to ult it out against a 4-man TP. They tried to like burst down the DK, but once he gets the shrine, they don't mess around. They're like, all right, we're out of here. There's 0 chance of fighting under the shrine. Multiple TPs. TNC just say, let's cut our losses, and it's what losses? Still no kills for DC. The loss there is just like some ulti usage, but they still get a kill on the support Undying. Doesn't really change all too much, but Spectre's instantly back bottom, continuing to farm. Spectre's farming at a pretty decent rate now. Everyone's kind of achieving their role right now, and Sada's taking over the top lane. It's going to have a fast blink. Tim's is already up to 1,500 gold.
On bottom lane, SamH will be unable to find something again, as they do have the vision back down. You see, being very good at trying to recover the state of this bottom lane and keep it safe for Bulba to find farm. And he does have friends with him. SamH should realize as he heads up. Dubu is hiding in the tree line actually, so may not be aware that Dubu's But yeah, he sees the rest then coming in behind him.
They just don't have the best damage right now to actually punish those plays. Like, I feel like I've seen SamH numerous occasions at bottom run into sentry wards, and DC see him, but it's like, well, you see him, but you can't initiate on him. You've got a frostbite, you go on him, he's just going to carapace and walk away, or carapace and then impale you, and you actually go down. So seeing this Nyx is one thing, but being able to kill him is a whole nother ballgame, and that's something that, yeah, DC just don't have the option to do until Slark gets like a Shadow Blade and can initiate through that.
This time around, looks like DC will be able to finish off the tier 1 on the bottom lane.
Look at Kuku though,
He's in the mid lane. Kuku's nearly soloing a tier 2.
He's just continued to pressure this lane. He's doing what you'd expect DK to be doing. Like, the enemy mid laner leaves the lane.
If they can get the kill on Raven, then that would be massive. Horde's still on cooldown for 10 seconds. Raven will try and juke it into the trees, and in fact, the juke's successful.
Oh,
the
nice
ward. We'll see him. Do they have the stun there? If anything, they have got the frostbite just in time, and they will surely get the kill on Raven. Yeah, the Breathe Fire finishes him off. So they get the Spectre kill.
What a ward. That is... Whew. PogChamp ward right there. That is some good plays, but big picture-wise, it still feels really good for TNC, even having lost their Spectre to that good play.
Can Arba get the deny?
What's the kill?
Oh, they're going to get it with Mason jumping in as well.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, DC finding Spectre down bottom, getting the OT in the mid lane, keeping that tier 2 alive, and enabling them to deny if they wish to. Absolutely players they need. Their first 2 kills in the game so far, but they are big ones.
Yep. Kill the top net worth here in the OD, and you kill the Spectre, who's always a danger here you want to shut down. Not the Radiance farming Spectre for Raven, going for casual Yasha, going to go for a more fighting-oriented build. I think recognizing that DC have this very early game push-oriented lineup, he wants to come online as fast as possible. Bottom lane, SamH getting initiated on.
Mason's going to take the solo kill there. Pops the Shadow Dance so he could chase him down. And Mason really climbing the ranks now.
That's a big streak ended too.
Absolutely. And look, suddenly, what, it felt like, what, a couple of minutes ago, a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes max, he was the same as Spectre. Now with these movements, the big kills he's been involved in, bam, suddenly back again, 2,500 net worth ahead of what Raven's achieved.
Those 3 kills kind of amount to like a 3.5 thousand gold swing going DC's way. That's a lot. I mean, you just killed all 3 cores in succession. You kill the carry, you kill the mid.
On Mason.
Yep, kill the carry, kill the mid, kill the offlaner who's on a killing spree. And, I mean, took a bottom tier 1 tower, I believe, during that sequence of events as well. So, all of that suddenly changes the state of this game. It really felt like DC were, I mean, they were kind of falling apart. They weren't able to find any success with their early game movements. The Undying was pretty ineffective. Demon's first few ganks didn't really amount to much, but suddenly things are looking very, very different. But smoke around the Slider Blink Dagger timing is going to be the name of the game. TNC want to play around Kuku's strength right now. He's very farm, very tanky with the Dragon Lance. 1500 HP, level 13. This is the strongest hero on the map right now, and TNC are going to just hug him, try and bait him, or just force some towers. They want this OD to get involved.
We'll see if there's any reaction from DC. This tier 1 push that will come through from TNC, but already low on health. Very likely to just let it go here to this push.
Yeah, should know. I mean, Bulba doesn't even stay around in the trees. He TPs out before anything comes his way. Bottom lane being vacant is the biggest obvious sign right now. No one farming that for TNC, and will be a full commitment up top. But ultimately, TNC say, you're not going to defend it, we'll take the towers then. If we're not going to find the fight, towers will do for now. And I think if you're DC, you really got to look for that trade. Like, if you're not going to defend towers, you've got to split push and pressure other lanes, which is what Arbed's on at bottom. With Mason's help, they're going to start pressuring this tier 2 tower of their own, but TNC, free Roshan, I imagine. Don't see an easy way to contest this one, as much as maybe DC have hit some okay item timings now with the Vlads and the Shadow Blade. They're just out of position to contest this one.
It's going to be very, very quick as well. With the Medallion and with the Corrosive from Tim's, I'll take it in a very, very quick time. Kuku to pick up the Aegis, as you already talked about. They're their big kind of hero on the map at the moment, and now he's going to have that extra life. Sort of group up and pushes. It's going to be even harder for DC to deal with. Mason, very close to picking up his next item. He's got the money for the Echo Saber. So a very respectable timing on this slot. 19 minutes in to have the Echo and the Shadow Blade complete.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. I'm trying to find the Nyx, perhaps. Nyx is near this sentry ward around this bottom shrine. Something you can kind of see both teams doing right now is putting sentries with their observers.
We'll see if Mason gets tempted to go for something. Two of them, they just have to be a little careful, and he's playing it safe. Not going to make any too brash plays on the slot.
Yep. But yeah, you can see kind of around that bottom shrine, both teams, sentry observer duos. Often, like when you're like these are effectively wards to scout invis heroes. Like this Slack is constantly shadow blading into the Radiant jungle. The sentry with the observer ward scouts that out. Similarly, the Nyx assassin doing the same thing to try and clear out their own jungle will get scouted by that observer sentry combo. So sentries alone don't really fulfill that role because you don't get the actual vision from them. DC have been spending a lot of money on these sentries. Like, it's actually being very heavily reflected in their supports right now. Very low net worth for both CM and Undying. It hurts a lot, but this is how you've got to play against a Nyx assassin. You've got to be proactive and hope it pays dividends. You get that Nyx killed once or twice with the sentries, they pay for themselves. Unfortunately, if you don't find the kills, you're going to be struggling. Abed gets just pelted at bottom lane by the Hurricane Pike. Casually just throwing out for some harass and some insta-steal.
On top lane, this dive here onto Raven, bringing them the kill as Mason just moves in with the Shadow Dance, diving the tower. Tims has come forward. Frostbite on him will hold him back as they'll look to try and punish DC's play, but it will be unsuccessful. Mason gets himself back to safety. TP's
bottom lane,
out.
meanwhile.
As the fight, oh my goodness, Sanity's eclipse for Kuku, but Mason's there. You know, straight down to the bottom, pops the Aegis. Can they kill him a second time? That's the question. It doesn't look like they can. Too bad a mana. Kuku moving forward. The damage coming out from this OD enough to warrant a double kill. So he may have lost the Aegis, but he gets the big kills. Bringing down the DK, getting the Undying as well. So TNC finding the trades, even though they lose that Spectre on the top lane.
Yeah, they lose the Spectre, but in some ways, I mean, the OD is really their one position in this game. Not, I mean, it's very heavily reflected in where the net worths are, but also the way they're playing more around Kuku. They're happy to have this Spectre be like solo farming lanes and just haunting in for a bit of cleanup. As long as Kuku's continuing to get further and further ahead, I don't think TNC are too phased by this. He's going to get another tower now at bottom lane. His farm is getting absurd at this point as TNC are taking control of this bottom side of the map, and we'll see what they can do. Raven does definitely want to progress and will do so with this Manta style pickup now, making him a much harder target to actually gank, and will be a lot more durable because of this.
Top lane Boba. We're kind of the NA build here with the Solar Crest into the Radiance.
Yeah, no Midas is the main thing we're seeing, but with the XP changes, perhaps just doesn't see it as a value way to get towards his talents. Doesn't go for the XP gain as well, so I mean, if you get the XP gain talent, then you get some good synergy with the Midas pickup, but just wants to get whatever fighting items, 5-man death ball we talked about. Look at
this smoke, TNC wrapping around from the high ground. They put the Haunt, they found Dubu jumping in straight away with the Kuku blink. Dubu's out and down, they pick up the CM on the side as well.
Yep. Cause quickly, like, let's not do anything about that, let's ditch our supports. And it really has been a game of poverty for CM and Undying. Constantly, I mean, their job right now is just to keep buying sentries, keep buying detection, do what they can. Unfortunately for them, they haven't even been able to get involved in the kills. The kills have come entirely from just Mason making like solo plays for the most part. He's been 3 of the kills. I mean, both supports have only got 1 assist and no kills between the 4 kills. It really has been some good ganks by Mason keeping them in this game, but yeah, the end result is no item progression in sight for CM or Undying. Not going to be seeing any Midases anytime soon, even if they want to go for them.
Mason absolutely needing this BKB, really be able to fight up against TNC a little easier, especially with the damage that Kuku is outputting on the OD.
There you go, DC. They smoke up. They've had enough of giving up free towers. They want to fight knowing that Haunt is down, and Spectre actually TP's bottom, so there's no return. There's no Haunt to come back in. And
they're already all getting out there. Tims maybe left, but the sentry's out. Yeah. He knows what's up.
Yep.
And TNC will avoid this gank entirely. Mid lane is actually going to be where the action is. There's the Astral setup from Kuku. Tims moving in for the crush, and Bulba very, very deep. Does have the borrowed time, but this is going to be a fair bit of int that Kuku's starting to stack up. Abed moving forward. We just to back out as Rio drops the weave. See, not to fight with their DK. They need to lose the armor.
Yep. Fairly disciplined from TNC. They don't try and dive the Abaddon or anything. They're just happy to back it off a little bit. I'll acknowledge that DC are quickly rotating to protect and help Bulba there.
Kuku really just going ham this game. 13,000 net worth. We're seeing, as in situations like that, if he abandons on the front, stealing a bit of intel before the fight could be massive. The sanity's eclipsed. Certainly going to hit hard and hit home on some of these heroes on DC. The intelligence disparity he's able to build up. Those right clicks. TNC, again, moving around across the mid lane, potentially Sam H. Vendetta. Seconds until he has it again if he wants to make another movement. Kuku already forcing down this bottom lane. So you look to set up to bring down the second tier 2 of the game so far.
TNC is a 5-man unit, are very strong right now, playing around their vision as well. They've got some nice deep observer wards in this area. They've got the blink initiations ready on their chain stunners, and both Tims and Sam H have been very effective this game on this ladder next duo. Been partnered up in the top lane for the early game laning stage, and since then they've been moving around and finding numerous kill setups for the team. Top lane though, Raven's TP'd in, needs to be careful. At the same time, it looks like he is slightly bait. Rio is sitting behind him ready with a Grave as well as Solar Crest. I think DC are actually aware of that as they did not initiate on him with Mason.
What is the plan for DC? I mean, it looks like they're still potentially waiting for Mason to have the BKB complete before they look to fight.
Item-wise, the BKB is the big one. That's where suddenly I mean, OD's kind of useless. He does no damage into BKBs. Can't Arcane Orb, can't ulti.
I like that as well, Kuku. He just went up to the high ground and denied the bounty rune. Said, I don't need this. I don't want this in my life. Who needs money when he's already as rich as he is?
Fair enough.
How confident Kuku's feeling.
Good on him, you know? It's like the Sumail, you know, you don't get that respawn town on Lina, I'm not going to die.
Yeah, play it cool.
But, yeah, I mean, as far as how they play, I think fight with BKBs, they're going to go for it not just on Slack, but Dragon Knight. You have 2 BKBs, you smoke up, you run at TNC. You say, what is this OD going to do against our 10-second BKBs? And the answer is pretty much absolutely nothing. He can try and save himself or a teammate by using Astral to put them under and then try and blink out defensively. Kiting around the BKBs is what you have to do, but those BKBs could catch him by surprise, and if Slack can hit some good pounces, see him gets the Frostbites off, some Dragon Tails, you lock some heroes in place, and suddenly those 10-second BKBs will win you fights if you're DC. And then ideally you turn that first successful team fight with the 10-second BKBs, you want to get Roshan with. But TNC may take Roche before that's even a possibility, because BKB not quite ready on DK, it is ready on Slack, and I guess the question for DC is that enough? Do you need both, or do you go with one?
Gem also picked up now by Sam H, so TNC be able to have that vision control and a little bit harder for Mason to potentially find the initiation that he wants to with the Shadow Blade. And it is going to be the smoke up from TNC as they head over DC's half of the map. They'll scan up the high ground. They know that they're not going to be walking up into anyone, so they can get this vision advantage from the top. Demon and Dubu could be the ones in trouble, and there's the initial jump in. Kuku looking for Dubu. The Horn comes out as well. They've got a good stun onto Mason. In fact, bringing him incredibly low. Does get the Shadow Knot off, but the Sanities comes through, and Kuku brings down a third. They may even get a fourth for his Bulba. Surrounded on the top lane, they have the Astral to play around the borrowed time duration. The stun from Sam H is off, but Tims, he hits his, and TNC pick up a 4th kill. This OD is just too
Is it going to be a 5th?
Massive.
Up at the bottom. He holds the Astral.
He's chilling. He's like, I got you, boy.
Yep. I'll let you think you can TP out.
Oh my goodness. And it's an effective team wipe there as TNC pick another triple kill for Kuku. And they're pushing in on the mid lane. Raven and Sam H knocking on the tier 3. There's no Mason for 25 seconds. Arbed's out for 40 without any buyback. And the jump in comes. Sam H and Raven ready to play deep in the base of DC. And TNC, I mean, they had an absolutely fantastic showing in the previous game, and now coming into this one. Well, sorry, in the first game of the series. No, sorry, it was the second game. Game 2 and Game 3 has just looked
back-to-back stomps in some ways. And I think they've found this fast-paced tempo that suits them. And DC were kind of playing, I mean, Game 1, when they had their success, they were winning lanes, playing early game aggression. It feels like the 2 games since they've slowed it down.
He wants to go, and he's got to find something here. The sentry's out, immediate amplify onto him.
Back it up, and Won't see a Rax going down, but Shrines are open for business as TNC will head their way towards one. Not sure they'll fully commit to this one in case DC try and take a fight, but still. Alright, Dragon Knight's got just the money for the BKB now.
Such a hard game. I mean, always playing from behind on the slug is never going to be ideal. Especially with how big this Outworld Devourer. Kuku, he really had a really solid game. Down the TA and now coming into this one, had a great time in lane.
Yep.
An insane amount of farm. And DC are just struggling to deal with him. I mean, how do they kill this OD?
How do they kill him twice is perhaps going to become the question. Maybe they'll give Spec to the Aegis.
Mason actually forced to pop the BKB very early.
No chance of stopping Roche now.
TNC, they've got the armor building up on themselves as well. They'll finish off Roche, no trouble whatsoever. Grab the Aegis of Kuku. Yeah, he's looking for some action, and with the Horn Vision onto Dubu. Dubu in a hell of a lot of trouble, getting 2-3 shotted down here. Dubu will fall, as well as Demon and Raven. He's chasing for more. Has his eyes on towards Bulba. Mason just running himself the hell back to base. 20-4. DC. Absolute disarray in this third game.
Yep. Yeah, the supports were just ineffective. They initially got shut down in lane. At top, it was the Nyx Slider duo killing the CM. The Undying kind of dived the tower. Didn't die, but just ended up roaming around kind of ineffectively. And, I mean, currently, the supports have died 13 times between them. Each of them only has 1 assist. Neither support has been able to really offer anything to DC, and it's really been their downfall here.
Do their best to keep TNC off the racks, but Kuku just stands strong with the Solar Cross buffing him up. He is not scared whatsoever. Abed will lead in with the stun. He will force them back, but not before that they were able to claim the melee racks. DC can only hope that TNC don't come back in, and TNC, they certainly want to. Kuku jumps forward with the Astral. Samage is already there on the high ground with the opening stun onto Abed. Gets the BKB off. Mason jumps forward onto the Nyx Assassin, pops his BKB. It's now back available. Mason will claim 1 kill. Moving around to the rest of TNC. Raven shoved down to the low ground. Mason pounces forward, doesn't get the connection. Can't go in for more though. The BKB wears off. Does have Shadow Dance available, but still respecting that of TNC. The jump in is there, and immediate hex up. Kuku with a massive Sanity's Eclipse. Mason to fall. Triple kill for Kuku. Ultra kill for the OD. Give that man a goddamn rampage, and there it is. Kuku playing out of his mind and destroying Digital Chaos as they take the series 2-1.
Whew. TNC show some serious gumption here. They take game 2 and 3. That was a very convincing way to take 2 games after a loss, and I think I mean, they're not really newcomers anymore. TNC have been around a while. I mean, obviously playing at TI with a slightly different roster, but a lot of the core of this team has mostly remained the same. Even, I mean, the captain and former drafter AU's gone, but they're getting more and more experience. But the fact that they can like come back after a game 1 loss at like these big Valve majors, I think really shows that these guys perform well on LAN. Like